this would have totally alleviated the Charlie Kirk assassination.
They saved this guy's life because of the drone. Plainclothes unit, they roll a spike strip, so now his tires are flat, and it's basically game over. He can't go very far. So these are a couple of 9-year-olds in their parents' backyard with a gun. You know, the neighbor basically reported that there were shots fired in the backyard, and the sheriff actually said, if not for the drone, they probably would have had these kids. We have some examples we could look at, if you're up for it.
Yeah, I would love that.
What this actually looks like.
Let's do it.
All right. So the way this works is you have the drones in the docking stations, and then, as you say, you distribute these all over the city. Typically, they go on the roof of fire stations because fire stations are kind of nicely spread out for faster response time. And they typically are installed in what we call hives, where you have like 3 docks on one rooftop, because that gives you capacity to respond to more calls. Like, it ends up being driven very similar to just how you staff an agency with officers based on the call for service volume. That's how you staff it with drones too. So if you have a high crime area or a high density area, you need a lot of drones in that area to respond to all of the incidents. And it just becomes part of the 911 dispatch flow.
How do you make that determination of how many drones a precinct would need?
Yeah, it's a great question. So this is actually something I'm very passionate about. So I have come from an engineering background. I love data and algorithms. And so I don't get to do as much engineering on the drone itself anymore. But we got asked this question all the time by cities, like, how many drones do I need? Where should I put them? And so I actually wrote a simulator where you can ingest historical 911 call data. So you get like time, location, priority, and then we can simulate through it, like literally second by second, and say like, all right, if we had a drone here, here's how long it would take to respond. And that's become a useful tool for us to work with our customers on, like, here's where we should put them. And the real output that we care about is the response time curve. Like, what percentage of calls are we going to get to? How quickly? And so based on the crime patterns and the call data, we can sort of optimize that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So are you just going off of, well, I shouldn't say just, are you going off of previous 911 calls or population size, mixture of both?
So 911 calls are the primary driver because that's the primary job of the drone, is to respond to calls for service and respond to incidents. Even though I love the data and the tool, at the end of the day, the judgment of the experts, of the people who live in that city, is the thing that matters most. So we kind of use that as a starting point, but there's always just infinite kind of local knowledge within the police department of like, oh yeah, this is a tough neighborhood, and this is, if we put this here, we'll be able to respond to this kind of incident. And so that ends up being, in most cases, kind of the primary factor at the end when we're fine tuning these things for what the deployments look like.
What kind of 911 calls are they responding to?
So we should look at, so it's all different kinds. I mean, it's basically as diverse as 911 calls are, which cover a huge range of things. So if we look at a couple of examples here, so this is from the Oklahoma City Police Department.
No, this is
not here. This is not the one that was shot. But so this was a situation where there was a train operator that called 911 in a panic, afraid that they might have hit somebody who was on the tracks. So they launch the drone, they get there in a few seconds, they can fly up and down the train. This is like a multiple mile long train. So it would have taken like 15, 30 minutes, an hour maybe. With the drone, they saw, unfortunately, there was a homeless person asleep on the tracks, but they found him in just a couple of minutes. And because they found him so quickly, they could guide in first responders, and they saved this guy's life because of the drone. Because in these situations, the seconds matter. Yeah. So that's kind of one example. We've got another one here. This is from the San Francisco Police Department. So same situation, drone is launched from a rooftop. This was one where there was a stolen vehicle. So they had a report of a stolen vehicle. They launched the drone, and now they can just go out and follow a stolen vehicle from the air. And this guy has no idea that he's being followed. So they knew that oftentimes these folks would steal license plates. It's called cold plating, but they never actually caught anybody in the act. With the drone, they see him like pull up, steal the plates off the vehicle. And then, once he's got the new plates, he's going to put them on the car. He actually holds the plate up here so you can read it from the drone.
Holy shit, man.
So he puts the plates on. Now he's window tinting it. So he went down a dead end street and he's putting window tint on. And this is the beginning of bad news, right? This is a crime spree. It's a stolen vehicle. He's cold plated it. He's tinting the windows. Like, he's going to go off and do a bunch of bad stuff. But they know exactly where he is. They know exactly what he's doing. They send out a plainclothes unit. They roll a spike strip. So now his tires are flat, and it's basically game over. He can't go very far. They go in and pick him up. And videos like this, I find just like deeply satisfying, where the criminal is just kind of screwed. You know, it's like there's just a huge asymmetric advantage that the officers have, and it's safer for everybody. I mean, it's safer for the officers, it's safer for the community. It's honestly even safer for the perpetrator, because there's a much lower chance that the officers are going to need to use force when they get to pick the time and the place to intervene. So it's like, for me, and for our customers, it's pretty awesome to see this stuff. And like the impact in San Francisco is incredible. I mean, San Francisco has had a rough run over the last 3 or 4 years. And fortunately, the voters voted to allow drone technology. And since they've deployed this, along with like some license plate reading cameras around the city, I mean, the statistics are staggering. I think crime is down overall like 30%.
No kidding.
Yeah, property.
How long of a time frame?
Like less than a year.
Holy shit.
Because I mean, you just can't get away with it, right? Like they will find you, they will follow you with the drone, and they will stop you before you can do anything more. So it really just completely changes the game. We hear this, they like game changer. We hear that all the time from our law enforcement customers.
Yeah.
Like, we've had people say it's the biggest change in policing since the invention of the radio, because it just totally changes the nature of first response.
Man, I mean, is this another example?
Yeah, we've got another example here. So this was really like a tragic situation. This was in Albuquerque. So these are a couple of 9-year-olds in their parents' backyard with a gun. And they were, the neighbor basically reported that there were shots fired in the backyard. So they sent the police out. Because they have the drone, they know exactly what's going on. So they can see that it's a couple of kids, rather than adults. They can use the information from the drone to de-escalate the whole thing. So you'll see they do a couple things here to distract the kids, and kind of pull their attention away. And there's just no mystery for them, right? Like, they're watching this live feed the whole time. They know exactly what they're dealing with. And they can use that to make better decisions. Like, rather than guessing, they know exactly what they're dealing with. So the officer goes in there, grabs the gun, and the sheriff actually said, if not for the drone, they probably would have had to shoot these kids, because they wouldn't know what they were dealing with. But with the drone, it's just a completely different situation.
Man, I mean, what about violent crime? Violent crime, like, I don't know, some type of a domestic call. I mean,
Yeah,
are these responding to stuff like that?
they're responding to everything. Like, this is in public, so I probably can't say the customer, but I was visiting a customer a couple weeks ago where they had there's a guy in kind of a low income apartment complex. He was drunk. His neighbor was playing ping pong in the parking lot, which was pissing him off apparently, and he shot the guy. Fortunately, he didn't kill him, but he shot him. Everybody heard the shots. They called 911. The drone got there in 20 seconds, and it got
20
there.
seconds?
Yeah, it got there just in time to see the guy with the gun walking back towards his apartment, putting it away, and walking into his apartment complex. And so the difference in response here is transformative, right? Without the drone footage, all the officers know is that somebody got shot. They have no idea who did it. They have no idea where he is. They have no idea if he's still armed. So they probably need to lock that whole place down. They probably need to go door to door, guns drawn. The chances of something tragic happening is non-trivial, right? But because of the drone, they knew who it was, they knew where he was, they knew that he was still armed. So they basically can just surround his apartment complex, yell at him, tell him that he's busted, he has no options, and he eventually came out and surrendered himself. And that stuff like that is happening all the time. So we, by the end of this year, we will be doing close to 1 million flights per year rate. So close to 100,000 flights per month. And so it's literally like almost every minute something like this is happening somewhere in the country where the drone is responding to an emergency.
I mean, I just feel like these, I mean, one, this would have totally alleviated the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah.
It'd be great if, was it Salt Lake? Was it Salt Lake?
In Utah.
Yeah.
Utah
Was it
University.
Salt Lake or Park City? Can't remember which one. But, yeah, it'd be great if they invested in Skydio for the next, outdoor event.
Yeah.
But I just see so many uses for this: stadiums, shopping malls,
Yeah.
outdoor parking lots, police stations, any military unit that's going to clear a building or a ship or,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. You're 100% right. I mean, you've got exactly
the
right.
high speed chase goes too long. Then, what's the
So,
flight time on these?
So max flight time's up to 40 minutes. Practical real world conditions, it's closer to 30 minutes, and then the top speed is 45 miles an hour. So it can keep up with cars in kind of urban and suburban areas, but it's not going to keep up with a car on a highway. It's not fast enough for high speed chases. But that is one of the motivations for the kind of the other form factor that we'll look at in a bit here to fly much faster, much longer range, much longer endurance, because the only stories that I don't like when we're looking at what's happening in public safety is where the guy gets away, and the cases where we see that happening now is where somebody just gets on the highway and speeds away.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.